There are many things that make our nation unique, and American art is one of them. Art is a reflection of the time and place it is created. The Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown, Ohio, was the first building specifically built to house an American art collection. The museum was founded over a century ago in 1919 by Joseph G. Butler, Jr., and is nationally acclaimed, where our sole focus is the art of America. The Butler has one of the premier collections of American art in the nation, including 22,000 artworks. To walk through the Butler galleries is to walk through the history of America. Join me as we explore our treasures. 4 centuries of American art. Modernism refers to a global movement in society and culture that from the early decades of the 20th century sought a new alignment with the experience and values of modern industrial life. Building on late 19th century precedents, artists around the world used new imagery, materials, and techniques to create artworks that they felt reflected the realities and hopes of modern society. The early 20th century was marked by the exploration of different techniques of artistic expressiveness. Distinguishing American modernism is the unifying theme of a conscious search for identity. What did it mean to be American? And what did it mean to be modern? A historic exhibition of modern art impacting the art of America took place in 1913 in New York City. The International Exhibition of Modern Art, the Armory Show as it came to be called, marked the dawn of modernism in America, regarded as more in touch with the increasingly fast-paced and chaotic world, especially with the outbreak of World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II. Although many different styles are encompassed by the term, there are certain underlying principles that define modernist art. A rejection of history and conservative values, such as realistic depiction of subjects. Innovation and experimentation with form, the shapes, colors, and lines that make up a work. With a tendency to abstraction and an emphasis on materials, techniques, and processes. Recognized as the mother of modernism, Georgia O'Keeffe is best known for her paintings of enlarged flowers and desert landscapes. She played an important part of the development of modern art in America, becoming the first female painter to gain respect in New York's art world in the 1920s. Cottonwood No. 3 is an oil painting created in 1944. Reflecting the New Mexico landscape, with its cottonwood trees softly painted in tones of green, showing simplified forms. Her use of brown quick brush strokes in the structure of the trees, the golden brown landscape, leading to the shapes of the clouds and colors in the sky, reminds us of techniques used by American Impressionists, reflecting an atmospheric quality using light and color. Let's take a look at 3 artworks, each representing a vision of nature and also depicting modernism. Think about how each of these artists used the elements of art, shapes, colors, and lines, to contrast the natural environment they've created. Arthur Dove is considered the first American abstract painter. His oil painting, Ice and Clouds, painted in 1931, is a soft study in blue. Notice the simplified shapes, limited colors, brown and white, and values of blue. As you take a closer look, we see the short brush strokes that create a sense of force and strength in the sky and hills. Of particular prominence are the two clouds Dove has placed in the glowing sky as they hover above. Look at the rounded white forms of the clouds in contrast to the jagged white forms of the ice in the foreground below. Marsden Hartley's oil painting, Birds of Bagaduce, and John Marin's watercolor painting, Schooner Yachts, Deer Isle, Maine, depict reflections of Maine's coast. Each artist showcases the power of nature as we see their artistic expressiveness prevail. Notice the strength of the lines, shapes, forms, and limited color palettes used by both Marin and Hartley. Hartley's sky is very powerful as it encompasses much of the composition in comparison to the foreground of the sailboats. We see the distinct line patterns of the birds as they fly overhead. Hartley's lines with a rich and deep blue move one's eyes from the waves to the sails to the mountains in the distance and to the wings of the bird. Are the birds warning of a storm ahead? John Marin's medium of watercolor is unique to the artist we've looked at thus far who worked with oil paints. Marin used watercolor applied in a more saturated way as he soaked the paper with color, then went back in with charcoal and graphite to create a very quick, strong, and bold line effect and use of forms. His schooner yachts seem to be on a swift sail against forces in this energized composition. In bold contrast to the modernist artist we've looked at, Lionel Feininger's oil painting represents a mill scene on a river. His form of experimental cubism is influenced most likely by Pablo Picasso, with flat, two-dimensional, and simplified shapes. The dramatic lines he's created represent the precisionism style. Feininger's limited palette of colors and soft, translucent textural quality allows us to see through the roof planes as the architectural rendering of the structures and the towers are reflected in the river in the foreground.